From NPR News, this is News and Notes. I'm Ed Gordon. He's known first for his years as a comedian and activist for civil rights, but he's also known as a health guru, giving advice to many for better living, including celebrities, most recently Michael Jackson, who he assisted during the singer's trial. In fact, before the proceedings began, the comedian proclaimed Jackson innocent of child molestation charges. Gregory fasted 40 days to focus on what he called the truth in the case. Over the years, Gregory has also been well known for his eagerness to spot a conspiracy, whether the subject is identity theft, the war in Iraq, or the death of Princess Diana. Our conversation won't disappoint those looking for conspiracy theories.
I'm the one, when Michael Jackson first got indicted, I went on a 40-day fast and said, if Michael did it, my mama did it. So for all those folks that believed he did it, they should have joined me in prayer. And what did you see? Not the verdict. You saw the truth come out long before the verdict. One state witness after another. And it's nothing but they after his money. As we talk now, Michael Jackson owns 63% of all country western music, which is to the tune of $800 million. Now, I was there at Neverland. There's hundreds of people that work there. There's animals there. The zoo there is bigger than the zoo in Washington, D.C. I looked at the animals. Ain't none of them skinny, and none of them look like they, and nobody's complaining about their check bouncing. All of this here is a deal that all at once we say, can a black person on this planet have this kind of power? Let's take him out. And they missed because they don't know how spiritual he is. Listen, if I rob banks, I'm not going to get on TV or this show and say, I don't see nothing wrong with robbing banks. So if he was having anything to do with them little boys, he wouldn't say he think it's okay to sleep. You ain't heard none of them priests. None of them pedophile priests ain't never said, I think it's okay to molest little boys. I think it's okay to bring them in my office and play with them. So why would Michael be that much stupid? He has a childlike mentality. And the Bible says, until you become as a child, you will never enter this kingdom, or he will have no trouble entering that kingdom.
Dick, you've been part and parcel of helping keep Michael Jackson healthy throughout this. You were out being a support mechanism for Michael and the family during the trial. Do you believe Michael Jackson has to face reality in terms of growing up now, and whether or not at this point he understands, despite his beliefs, if those are to be believed, he now has to change what he used to do?
Now, let me back up for a minute. Michael has a brilliant mind, but he has a childlike mentality. And I know children, because I'm a father of 10 children, sleep with teddy bears, sleep with dolls, sleep with a security blanket. I know children that you can tell them, stay away from this stove, but until they reach up and pull that pot of hot water on them and scald them, you don't have to tell them that no more. No, I think what have happened have reached past all of his nice behavior attitudes. And if Jesus Christ came back today as nice as he is, it'd be hard to get Jesus to show up at another Last Supper because the first one didn't come out too good. And so people wake up from experiences. When you go back to that first trial, people don't know what happened. And my grandmother looked at that and believed he did it, where Johnny Cochran settled that case out of court. And here's the reason why. Now, Johnny might not know what I'm fixing to say now. The late Johnny. That Michael Jackson was injected with hormones when he was 7 years old to keep his voice high. That did things to tear up the body. You look at athletes that use hormones. You look at women that use birth control pills. Some of them have a strong attraction for another woman because birth control pills have female hormones in it. Most of them don't know this. And that's what this whole game is. And so consequently, it affected him where the skin color started changing at a certain age. Michael knew that with all of his talent, nobody's going to come see someone with spots. And so he goes to the right chemist and the right scientist, and they create some injections that bleaches him white. Now, when that first case come up, which was a fraud, when you sit around and take ordinary people and say, well, he wouldn't have settled out of court. And let me tell you what that settlement was. It wasn't no $30 million. It was X amount of $1 million goes in the bank for escrow, and all that dad is able to get out of that is the interest off of that. He got a rude awakening. But let me tell you two things that came out of that trial. All over the world, they talk about the black family in America. We saw the black family. We saw the black family sitting there every day as a family unit. And let me tell you something else. That jury watched Michael every day. And as the world talk about how weird he is, well, Pee Wee Herman weird. He don't have to go to jail for it. They got to see a Michael Jackson every day and heard people lying on him. People, they didn't know they were lying. Michael did, and Michael never had negative attitudes. He never flinched. He never looked evil. And I'm sure that had a profound effect on the jury. And so I would say that Michael's biggest problem now is he got to go in to a hospital and get thoroughly examined. Most of the stuff that I thought was wrong with him, I didn't deal with because he had the trial. And so when you stop and think about, the family, I would go home with them. And when you first walked in that house after they leave trial, you didn't see them because only the family members was permitted to go upstairs to the room, and they had prayer vigil and they prayed. If you was in that house from another planet, you would not know that Michael was on trial because sometimes there was 30 people there. I see Michael's children running through the house. It's obvious they didn't know what was going on. They was reacting just like normal children. But Michael knew there was 12 folks that didn't look like him that would determine if he was going to jail or if he was going to be free. And what that will do to the human body is just awesome. So now, after it's over, now he got to work to start getting his sleep. And I'm not talking about sleep where a doctor injects you with some kind of sleeping device or pill or a shot. He's going to have to get into physical fitness. He's going to have to get into drinking water. And once that happens, I think he can get back to normal. But it's going to take almost a year, 2 years.